We talk a lot about living a quality life, but what does that actually mean? Well, today we're diving into a personal manifesto from Hussein Sonmazai that's this amazing blend of super practical health advice and really profound wisdom. We've taken his core ideas and built them into this guide for a life of, well, health and peace.
Right off the bat, the author hits us with this powerful metaphor. Think about that for a second. Life isn't some pre-written script we just have to follow. No, it's an empty film, a blank canvas. And we're the artists. Our choices every single day are the colors we use to paint each frame. It totally flips the script from being a passenger to being the director of your own life.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to journey through 5 key areas. First, we'll look at the core principles of his manifesto. Then, we'll dive into how to nourish your body, cultivate your mind, and connect with your soul. And we'll wrap it all up with this incredibly empowering idea that, at the end of the day, you are your own best doctor.
Okay, so first up, the manifesto for quality life itself. Don't think of this as a list of strict rules. It's more like a declaration of intent. It's all built on this idea that a truly high-quality life doesn't come from these huge, dramatic events, but from the small, conscious choices we make every single day.
The first principle is just so beautifully simple. Just increase the good stuff in your life. I mean, look at this list. He's asking us to intentionally seek out these small, wonderful experiences. Like actually feeling the grass under your feet, or really listening to music, or connecting with people through gratitude and forgiveness. These aren't just nice-to-haves. He's saying they're essential nutrients for a quality life.
And the real engine behind all of this? Gratitude. The author frames it in a spiritual way here, but the message is universal. Thankfulness isn't just a passive feeling. It's an active force. It's the thing that can literally make your dreams come to life and make your reality that much more beautiful.
Okay, so once we've got that foundation of gratitude and intention, where do we go next? To our bodies. This is where the philosophy gets super practical, with some really tangible advice for taking care of our physical health.
This might be one of the simplest yet most powerful tips in the entire manifesto. He calls it a non-negotiable rule. So why? Well, the idea is that drinking while you eat waters down your stomach acid. That makes it harder to digest your food and kill off any bad bacteria. Just by changing when you drink, you could potentially get rid of issues like bloating and indigestion. It's a small change with a huge impact.
And this is what I love about this philosophy. It's not just big ideas. It's actual practical stuff you can do. Here's a simple, all-natural remedy for a cold, using things you probably already have in your kitchen. It's a perfect example of using what's around us to help our bodies heal themselves.
Having trouble switching off at night? We've all been there. Here's another amazing tool. The 5-7-8 technique is a breathing exercise that's designed to literally calm your nervous system down. By taking control of your breath like this, you lower your heart rate, you lower your blood pressure, and you basically send a signal to your brain that says, hey, it's safe to relax now.
This analogy is just brilliant. The author wants us to stop thinking of our stomachs like, a garbage disposal, and start seeing them as a high-tech chemistry lab. What you put in and how you combine it literally determines the quality of the energy and immune-boosting formulas your body produces.
And here's that chemistry lab in action. You take oats, sesame, and flax seeds, all great on their own, but when you combine them with yogurt, you create this synergistic mix that's a powerhouse for energy and immunity. It's like a simple daily science experiment for your health.
Now, it's super important to get this straight. This manifesto is not about rejecting modern medicine, not at all. It's about finding a balance. So, right alongside these natural remedies, the author is absolutely firm that preventative care is crucial. Regular checkups, blood tests, these are non-negotiable tools for a long and healthy life.
All right, we've covered the body, but what about what's going on upstairs? We have to cultivate our minds too. This second pillar is all about how our mindset, our priorities, and our relationships are every bit as critical to our well-being as what we eat. So to explain the danger of getting our priorities all mixed up, the author uses this incredible metaphor. He just says, never forget the story of the walnut worm. And right away, you're hooked. You have to know what that story is, right? So picture this. A tiny little worm finds a big, delicious walnut and tunnels its way inside. It eats and eats and eats, and it gets fat and happy. But when it's finally full and decides to leave, it realizes it's too big to get back out through the same little hole. And even worse, the shell has hardened around it. The only way out is to starve itself until it's skinny again. But by the time it finally escapes, it's weak
and the best part of the year is already over.
And boom, there's the gut punch, the moral of the story. The author says our own greed for more stuff, more money, more property, is exactly like that worm. We get so busy accumulating that we trap ourselves. And by the time we finally say, okay, that's enough, the best seasons of our lives, the springs and summers, are already gone.
So to avoid those kinds of mental traps, he gives some really practical advice for protecting our inner peace. It really boils down to emotional intelligence, learning to see past the surface, staying away from people who just drain your energy, and building your circle of friends on a solid foundation of real, mutual respect. This idea of protecting your peace is the perfect bridge to our third pillar, connecting with the soul. This part explores the spiritual side of a quality life, and it's all about purpose, charity, and our connection to something bigger than ourselves. At the very core of this spiritual dimension is a concept the author calls the debt of being. And this is such a powerful idea. It basically flips our idea of blessings on its head. It's not just about being lucky. It says that if you have wealth, you have a duty to share it. If you have knowledge, you have a duty to teach. Your gifts aren't just for you, they're for everyone. And this debt is paid through specific actions. The author talks about concepts like zakat, which is a structured annual giving that's seen as a way to both help others and protect what you have. Then there's tzedakah, which is more of a voluntary charity, seen as a way to protect your own well-being. And finally, you pay your intellectual debt by sharing your knowledge.
And this is where it all comes together. All these ideas, body, mind, and soul, they all lead to one single empowering truth. You are the main architect of your own health and happiness. You are in charge.
So, how do you become your own doctor? Well, here's the ultimate prescription. It's this beautiful, holistic list that covers the physical stuff, like sunlight and exercise, but also the mental and social. I mean, strengthening your willpower and choosing your friends wisely are seen as just as important as what you eat. This is your personal toolkit for self-care.
And if you need a little fire to get you started, the author shares this incredible quote from Uwe Kochak. The message is just relentless perseverance. It doesn't matter how you move forward. You run, you walk, you crawl. The only thing that matters is that you keep moving. When it comes to your well-being, you have to be stubborn. So, we end on this beautiful, poetic challenge. It's a direct question to you. Look, nature keeps its promises, right? The sun will rise. The stars will come out. The question is, what promise are you going to make to yourself to start filling your own film with beauty? And are you ready to keep it?